Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Wednesday as you are listening to the show today, the last Wednesday, not only of the month, but of 2020. Whoa, I'm so excited. It is The Valley Business Today, of course, and we are on the Zoom screen with Sally Michaels from Frederick County EDA. And Sally, thank you for helping me kick 2020 to the curb, because I know a lot of what we're going to be talking about is moving forward into 2021, and I am all for it.
Yay! Well, I'm happy to kick 2020 to the curb as well. And we've got a lot of exciting things to talk about, things that we're going to be doing in 2021. We've been working hard all year, even though we've been off in our own little quarantine spaces. But 2021 is the time for all of us to come back together and make this happen. So thank you.
So I want to start with something that I feel like might be a pretty big misconception throughout our community. So when I introduced you, I said you're with the Frederick County EDA. And I think most people, when they hear EDA, they think about the topics that I traditionally talk with Patrick Barker about, which is bringing businesses to the area, economic development as a whole. But they don't realize that there are, and I know we're going to use the phrase pathways a lot, but there are other pathways that form economic development, including education, which is one of the things that you and I usually talk the most about. Explain to me again the Workforce Initiative and what role it plays in economic development in our area.
Okay, absolutely. Well, when I came on board back in 2013, I was hired as the existing business, can't remember the title, rep, coordinator, something like that.
I think that's what it was.
For the businesses that already exist in Frederick County, right? We need a liaison, someone looking out for them, making sure they're healthy and happy. And I asked, why the heck are we so involved with education? And so from that digging, we came up with the Business and Education Summit first, where we could have the educators and the businesses come together and hopefully speak one language, because they were wanting the same things, but saying it in a different way. And from that summit, the Workforce Initiative was born, because we took a bite out of an elephant and we're still trying to digest. So the Workforce Initiative is business leaders and educators from the area. When I say that, I mean Rappahannock, Page, Warren, Shenandoah, Clark, Frederick, Winchester. Did I miss one?
All of our surrounding Shenandoah.
Okay, so 7 districts that are working together. Yes, it's the educators. Yes, it's the K-12, but it's also, when you think about our Lord Fairfax Community College footprint, it's those 7 districts. So it makes sense for all of us to work together with those businesses and the schools to figure out what are their needs. And, this is really starting, it does start at K-12. We're trying to grow our own, but it infiltrates into the colleges. And the Workforce Initiative is trying to show the entire community that all jobs, it takes all kinds, and all jobs matter. And there are different pathways to these jobs, and we need to be accepting of all those pathways.
And I know a lot of times we've talked about the parents' perspective that we all want our kids to have a good job, get a good education, and sometimes even more importantly, to stay home, to stay in our community so that they can come over for dinner and we have them around and close to us. But the real key is, as a community, we need these businesses, like you mentioned, not only ones that have been here for a while to grow and be successful, but new ones to want to come here because we have a well educated and well trained and skilled workforce.
Yep.
Ideally, that you, like you said, we have homegrown.
Absolutely. And so what you mentioned, Patrick, and doing the attraction piece, it is very attractive to companies that are looking at our area, any of the seven areas, to find out that we've got a program for workforce. However, our existing businesses, that's bread and butter. I mean, they keep us going. That's where you take a child and where do their parents work? And their parents have steady income, they've got insurance, right? They may not know exactly what their parents do, but those parents are here and earning a good living. And so it's bigger than just EDA. It is a community thing, right? It's everyone healthy and happy. The businesses are able to expand because they're doing well. You know, they might add 20 positions. And some businesses adding 2 positions is a huge leap. Um, and we have a lot of smaller and medium-sized businesses that exist in our areas, and they've been here a long time. So we need to support them. But yes, the workforce is key. It's another part. Any EDA that you look up across the nation is going to be working on workforce.
So the summit itself, I went to the website, by the way, explorefrederickcareers.com. And on there, I clicked on the summit and watched a pretty interesting video that Todd was doing talking about the impact of education on our business community. My first question is, where did you get all those numbers? I mean, he had all kinds of numbers and information. Talk to me about the content that he was talking about in that video.
Okay, so Todd Lynn is the chairman of the Workforce Initiative. He is also the CTE director down in Shenandoah County. He is the one presenting for the summit. Now, typically we do the summit in person because it's a lot better when you can just have that synergy in the room. You've got the educators and the businesses together. But we had to record it this year. So it will be immortal for Todd. But he does talk about numbers. And when we started to talk about how are we going to reach some of these objectives, where the heck do we start? Let's look at 10-year demand. Okay, so this comes specifically from Chmura Analytics. We find out over the next 10 years which clusters, okay, cluster is manufacturing, construction cluster, IT. Those are the 3 we're looking at. Which ones are growing? And that's why we picked those 3. They are growing. We break it down by, okay, over the next 10 years, how much are they growing? And some of those slides that Todd goes over, you know, it highlights, look, we need material movers, we need construction laborers, we need carpenters, we need first line supervisors of construction, we need extraction workers, electricians, plumbers. So he'll go over that in the slides. So that's Chmura Analytics. We use that a lot here. Another study that he highlights in that video is the Shenandoah Valley Workforce Development Board, which again covers that footprint that we're talking about, the 7 districts. They specifically did a manufacturing study. And so it's very interesting if you hit pause in the video to see the top hard skills defined, the top soft skills defined. We talk about soft skills a lot on this show. You know, can you look me in the eye when we're having a conversation? Are you able to troubleshoot? But the hard skills, and more often than not, our businesses are saying, you know, get me people that are willing and I can teach them. And that's true. So that Shenandoah Valley Workforce Development Board study showed us what our local manufacturers are struggling with and what they're looking for. So that's where some of the data was. And that's where we started. IT, manufacturing, construction. We know those clusters are growing. And over the next 10 years, that's where we're going to be pushing to build the pathway, courses that get us students of any age, okay, over the threshold into an existing business.
Now, I want to take a break in a minute, but you just said students of any age, because I think it's also important. We've talked about WOW. We've done several shows on WOW. I've been, the station has participated in WOW. This is not something that you need to not be talking to your kids about until they're considering what college they want to apply to or they're in high school. This does start at a much younger age than what I think traditionally parents have thought about, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, when you were little, you probably wanted to be many things, right? I think I've said before, I wanted to be a rocket. I didn't know until a few years ago. I mean, I'm 5'3". You have to be between 5'7" and 5'10". So that was never going to come true. But none of my dance instructors ever told me that I couldn't be a rocket. But it does start at an earlier age, and you do want to encourage that exploration. And we find that, the job may change and the course may go off a little bit, but the pathway doesn't change typically. So for instance, someone that's interested in IT, they're not going to decide, oh, now I'm going to go into the medical field and I'm going to be a phlebotomist. That just doesn't happen. So yes, it does start at an earlier age, but when I say students of all ages, we want to be very careful not to mislead folks that we're talking about just K-12. You have 20 and 50 and 70-year-olds that are taking classes at the colleges. So they're students. You have people that decide, I'm going to change careers, and they're taking classes. So they are students. So our objective is train them up on a pathway. How can we get them over the threshold into these existing businesses?
So let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about what you need. I know there's a survey. I know you have partners that you're looking for. I know that you are trying to recruit people to help you build these models. So when we come back, can we talk about who you need what from and why?
Yes, and everyone should turn their volume up.
No, right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Sally Michaels. She is with Frederick County EDA. It is the Valley Business Today. And again, if you go to explorefrederickcareers.com, you can watch the quick video or at least bookmark it. And we'll be back in a couple of minutes to continue talking about the 2020 Business and Education Summit in just a couple of minutes.
Got a financial decision to make or a goal to reach, but you don't know where to start? You've come to the right place. Introducing Quick Money Chats with the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program. Visit tinyurl.com/quickmoneychat to schedule a virtual chat with a staff member or trained volunteer. We won't tell you what to do, but we will give you the tools you need to choose wisely. And because Virginia Cooperative Extension is part of Virginia Tech and Virginia State, your land-grant universities, you can be sure that our information is credible and trustworthy. And you'll know that we aren't trying to sell you something. Maybe you want to improve your credit score, or reduce your banking overdraft fees, or even figure out if you can afford to buy that car. Sorting through tons of information on the internet can be overwhelming, and sometimes it can be hard to know who to trust. Schedule a Quick Money Chat and get the information you need to take action. Go to tinyurl.com/quickmoneychat and get financial education personalized for you.
Welcome back to the Valley. Today, I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Wednesday as you are listening to the show today. We, however, have pre-recorded our conversation on the Zoom screen with Sally Michaels from Frederick County EDA. We have been chatting about the Workforce Initiative, the 2020 Business and Education Summit. ExploreFrederickCareers.com is where you can go to get a little bit more information. I want to make sure we tell people that a couple of times throughout this segment in case they're listening on our website, sitting at their desk, which a lot of people do. So Sally, when we went to break, I told you when I came back, I wanted you to explain to me what you need from who and why. So how about that for a generic question?
It's a loaded question. We need construction, manufacturing, and IT businesses to please go to explorefrederickcareers.com. There are a couple things there, a couple links. First, you should look at the video. Our chairman of the Workforce Initiative will explain, what are we doing? What is this project? We want to build these models for IT, construction, and manufacturing, and why
And
we're
that
doing
video,
it.
by the way, is less than 15 minutes long. So this isn't a
Okay.
3 or 4 hour presentation. It is a quick 15-minute video.
No, we cut the fat. We are trying to just get busy. But he does a good job explaining the project. He does a little explanation of Valley Health, a model that was started almost 10 years ago. We know it was successful, and I can read those numbers out here in a minute. And then the next steps would be reviewing the course offerings. Now, this is a huge ask. This is the elephant right here. There's an Excel spreadsheet with 2 tabs, K-12 courses and college courses. Now we do Blue Ridge Tech, we do James Rumsey and Lord Fairfax. I need our IT, manufacturing, construction businesses to please look at that Excel sheet. Read through the course descriptions, highlight them, tell us what works, tell us what needs to be redlined. Are there components that are missing? Because from this feedback, we are going to build these pathways to get you a crop through the door. So that is the biggest ask, is the review. The next step would be the survey for your specific cluster. So there's 3 surveys. You take the one that's corresponding to your cluster, and it's like 7 questions. It's very quick, very simple. But from that feedback, we're going to start building these pathways. We have to have enough feedback from this group in order to get a good start. And again, I'd like to remind everyone that this is 7 districts. It's Warren, Clark, Shenandoah, Page, Rappahannock, Frederick, Winchester. It's a broad area. It's the LFCC footprint. So we've got to hear from all those businesses. Let us know which courses work.
And does it
K-12.
matter what size the business is? I mean, are you looking for somebody with a minimum or a maximum number of employees, or do you literally, if you're in the IT, construction, or manufacturing field, go take a look at this and take this survey and give you some feedback?
Any size, because in the first segment we talked about the majority of our businesses are small to medium businesses. You might have 3 employees. Great, you're the experts in IT. We aren't. We have to have your feedback. If you have 500 employees, great. Can 1 or 2 of you please, anybody that does the training, please take the survey, review those courses, let us know. It begins with the experts. We want to make sure we get off on the right foot. Now, I had mentioned that we're doing these models based on a model that Valley Health started almost 10 years ago with K-12. It started as K-12, then it grew into LFCC and Shenandoah. But some of those numbers I'd like to share, and it's taken a little while for them to get up there, but, and you can pause that slide. I think it's slide number 15 in that presentation. When you look at the school year, this is just K-12, 2012 to 2013, they had 790 students that were enrolled in health science classes. Fast forward 7 years to the 2018-2019 school year, they had 2,024 students enrolled.
Wow.
Huge jump. And then you can break down by division, how much they have grown, each one. So Valley Health takes these students through each area within their business, and they are not just medical, which is why they are partnering with us to do these models, because they also have IT. But just with the medical sciences, they've added courses over the years, and they have hired 205 full-time employees. Of those 205, there are 126 that are still employed. That is a 61% retention.
Wow.
So the program works. We're thrilled to have them on board, supporting us as we expand into IT, manufacturing, construction. The other businesses that have already signed up to help us, Navy Federal Credit Union, Kingspan, Continental, Annandale Millwork, Monoflow, fantastic. We need that feedback. I don't care the size. If you have 3 employees or 500, You're the experts. We need to know which courses work, what components are missing. And then from that, there are going to be a couple phases. We have to understand which on-ramps and off-ramps we need. It's no longer a career ladder. It's a zigzagging path. So we want to continue to build that out, just like the Valley Health model has done over the last many years. Some of that phase 2 in the future is going to be, now we figured out the pathway, we know which courses we need. How about instructors? How about equipment? What about the money? How are we going to pay for these instructors? How are we going to pay for the equipment? How do we get it into the budget with the schools? And then guaranteed interviews. So it's a win-win. The businesses are going to have students that are committed to the pathway, and potentially have, a candidate that they can hire.
And we were talking before we started recording for the radio show about the types of jobs out there that sometimes we don't understand that are available because they have changed. You talked about how sometimes what you do now isn't what you're going to be doing in 5 or 10 years. I love that you guys are looking ahead at what the growth is in 10 years, because that is as important as anything else, because you don't want to put all your time and energy into a career path or job skills that are going to be irrelevant in the next couple of years. But tell me a little bit about what you were telling me before we started recording for Winchester Equipment.
Oh, right. Well, you mentioned WOW at the Worlds of Work last fall. I climbed up into one of those gigantic tractors, and I was watching the video. It is amazing. I had no idea. I was thinking, oh, it's just a tractor. It's going to go out and till or plant. It is so intricate. It is absolutely amazing, the technology of these computers and the machinery and how they interact. So with not much understanding of this, I will explain that you could program your piece of equipment to till 2 rows, skip the third, plant to this depth. It's insane. What I learned from Winchester Equipment was that while they are in need of techs and they can't seem to get more techs in, the ones that they have are going to classes like every 4 and 6 months to keep up with the technology. So 2 things there. It's really amazing, the technology that is in the ag industry. I had no idea, which I probably should have, because of, the Teslas that are driving around by themselves. I just didn't put that together with the ag business, but it's there. The other piece is everybody that's listening needs to understand there are careers out there that you don't even know about. We're finding new stuff all the time. So I'm not just talking about the students, I'm talking about the parents. Understand that, when your kid says, I think I'm going to be a YouTuber, or, they're taking these classes for the drones, and the video gaming, who would have thought, right? You're going to rot your brain, get away from the TV screen, right? No, it's actually growing, and there are on-ramps and off-ramps. So we need to change the way we're thinking about it. We need to be open to all of these things.
And I think it's awesome too, because that's happening right here. I mean, Winchester Equipment is right here in Winchester. This isn't going on in Northern Virginia or Los Angeles or New York City. Those kinds of skilled workers are happening right here in our backyard.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And in that example of Winchester Equipment, that's a chance to travel. I mean, when I was 20 something in sales, I loved to travel. Go away to a conference, see a new city, right? So there's all kinds of different benefits. Trust me, I have done the commute and gripped the steering wheel. It is not worth it. There's so much here. There's so many career opportunities that we are unaware of, that I'm still learning about.
So
yeah.
Tell me one more time before we wrap up, what do you need from who?
We need feedback from our businesses. Businesses all the way down in Page and Rappahannock, come up to Shenandoah, Warren, Winchester, Frederick, Clark. We need construction, IT, and manufacturing businesses to please go to explorefrederickcareers.com. Please watch the brief 15-minute video that explains our project. a little bit of the history about the model that we know is successful for medical sciences. Please review that gigantic Excel spreadsheet and let us know what components are missing, what looks good. And that we're going to have to even that out between some schools don't have some of those classes. So that's going to be some work. After you review those courses, take the survey corresponding to your cluster. If you're IT, take that IT survey. Let us know. We've got to have a good sampling up and down the highway. We've got to know what you need, what works. It's the only way we're going to get students to your door that have some of that skill. And God bless our businesses, they are willing to train pretty much anybody that comes over their threshold.
Oh yeah,
and is
guaranteed
willing to work.
interviews. I mean, it really is a win-win for both the workforce and the people providing the jobs to them.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
you can
And you don't
search
wanna-
that spreadsheet based on, we were talking about that before, hydraulics or mechanical, and make it a little bit easier for yourself. Because my guess is some of these businesses are going to open that spreadsheet, they're going to look through it, and they're going to, at least some of them are going to go, oh, I didn't even know they already had that class at LFCC or at Jameswood High School. Holy cow, I need to look into this a little bit more. So it really is going to be a great fact-finding mission, in addition to being a tool for you to be able to build out this new model.
Not to scare everyone, it is a gigantic spreadsheet, and you can search. And we talked about entering those specific keywords, mechanical, but it should be eye-opening because we do have a lot that already exists. The key is, do we continue with this? Or our business is going to say, no, absolutely not. You're missing these things. We have to know in order to get the crop to you.
So where do they start?
ExploreFrederickCareers.com. Watch the video, very brief, review the course offerings, take the survey. And then, we talked about this being the last Wednesday of the year. First quarter of 2021, we're going to have those groups getting together to review the feedback. So Navy Federal, Kingspan, Continental, Annandale, Millwork, Monoflow, those businesses are already on board to sit down with us, go through the survey feedback, and start to build the pathways. So you want to get in on the groundwork. We've got a lot of work to do. It's going to take everybody. ExploreFrederickCareers.com. And we'll be updating that website. It says December 30th as the deadline. We're going to bump that to the end of January, so that everybody has enough time now that we're doing the radio show and they can hear, hey, I got to be a part of this. We're going to bump that to the end of January. So please spend the next few weeks going over that coursework and then doing the survey. I really appreciate it. The Workforce
Awesome.
Initiative appreciates it.
Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come and chat with me on the Zoom screen.
I love the real interaction. It's amazing.
We are going to wrap up our conversation today with Sally Michaels from Frederick County EDA. Again, ExploreFrederickCareers.com. I will put the link to that in the show notes page. You can go to theriver953.com right now. Click on the podcast tab. There you will find the link to today's show. You can listen to this again. I will put, again, the link to where you can get all of this information. Sally, thank you for sharing a hump day on the air with me. I hope you have a fantastic welcoming of 2021.
I wish that for everyone. Let's just slide down that hump right into a fantastic, blessed new year.
I will be back tomorrow. I am having a conversation with Michelle from Samuels Public Library about their laptop lending program, which is going to be really cool for a lot of people going into 2021. So meet me back here just a few minutes after noon.